everyone, welcome to the next part of this video from Small Victories by Johanna Basford, using Chromaflow pencils, and we are working through our sort of ice cream part. We're going to continue with that and then move up onto the house, and we'll see how it goes, really, how much we get done. So let's come in nice and close, well, ish, so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Now we have these two which I'm going to be looking at next, and I have to sort of think about what are they. We could say like a little squirt of cream or a meringue. I think I mentioned that yesterday. I think I might do this one as a meringue. It's bigger. I think if it was a squirt of cream it would be really sickly, so so I'm sort of thinking of it from a sort of practical eating point of view, I guess. So I'm going to use the rose pink to colour this. Now meringues, yes, they're quite often white, but we do get pink ones, and it's a lot easier to colour a pink one than a white one. So I'm going to use my rose pink all over, just really gently to start with, so just a gentle soft layer. Hopefully you can see it a little bit, but don't press too hard yet because we're going to layer it up a little bit. I'm sort of thinking about the shape. Now I'm thinking if it's a piped meringue there would be some darker and lighter areas. So let's start here. This bit for me is the easiest. I'm thinking it would be darkest against this line here. So I'm going to put some more layers of our pink in here and then sort of fade it towards the edge. I don't know how well that shows up. I can barely see it myself. But I might add a darker colour in a bit, but I'm going to work through all of it doing this. So this edge here next, so layering it up along the edge there and then fading it off towards here. And then if it doesn't show up enough for my liking, I might use a darker colour. But I can see it more on mine than I can in the camera, but I don't know how well. My screen is set to quite bright so that I can see it with my old eyes. So it might depend on how bright your screen is, whether you can see it. It's, my camera screen is actually set to be brighter than my my screen in my other room when I actually sort of edit and view. Isn't quite so bright because it's bigger, so I can see it better. So there's that one. Now these two, this one I feared is our sort of front one. So here I'm going to change sides. So this is against here. This one's going to be against this line. I'm going to do a little bit with that in a minute, but I'm just working on this first. It's a bit easier. And then this line. And then here. And then here I want a little bit on the edges, but not as much as we had on the other side. A little bit tricky. It's a little bit. I'm not sure if I want a little bit more there. What other colours? I'm just looking. See, our pink heather is, oh, the orchid. Maybe a little bit of orchid, a few strokes of orchid. I'm going to give it a try. You might be happy with how it looks without doing any extra, also depending on what pencil set you're using and how heavy-handed you are with your colouring. This is the orchid, and I'm just going to put a little bit along each line here. I'm going to go quite light and gently. I don't want it really dark. I just want a little bit more definition. Yeah, I'm happier with that. So you don't have to include this if you're happy with how yours looks without doing this. But it's just a little extra. There we go. Yeah, that's better to me. I'm going to actually go over it again with the rose pink. It will fade it down and smush it a little bit doing the same as I did last time, so going over, taking the colour towards the edge but not all the way across, because we have already got a little bit of rose pink on there. Put a little bit more on this one. And then just work across. There we go. Now, this little one here, oops, sorry, pushing the book around a lot, thinking could be a blob of cream or could be a blob of custard. I am going to use the saffron mango just because I want to use a lot of different colours for this. I meant to empty my pencil sharpener just now and I forgot. Saffron mango. I've got quite a blunt pencil at the moment. I'm going to go over it with a layer. You can see it's sort of yellowy, so it might look like a blob of custard or something, but I do want to sharpen my pencil because I'm going to do a similar thing to what I did with our other one, which I said was a meringue, but you know, it could be a piped blob of pink cream or anything really. And here again, along these lines, a little bit darker. It's a bit trickier on this one because it's a bit thinner, but I don't know what to do here. I think I'll just do a bit along the centre. I'm a bit confused. And then move to the other side like that. Now, our house is sitting on this. Let's come down a bit. What is this? Well, I'm wondering if it's a, you know, I was going to say a bagel. No, a donut, a ring donut. And the house might be in the middle. So I'm thinking this tiny bit in here, I'm wondering if that's just like a little bit of donut, like a little bit of, you know, cake. But do I have a colour? I'm thinking the brown sugar colour could work well for that. Like it'll look like a little bit of cake in there. We don't want it too dark. We don't want it to look like it's burnt. But I think that's enough, but I want to just darken it up. I'm actually going to go to my reach to the saffron mango, which we've obviously just used, and just go over that to burnish it a little bit without darkening it too much more, like that. There we go. That's our sort of cake. I don't know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't look like cake, who knows. Now, I got a bit of jubilee icing and then a bit of something with some hundreds and thousands in it. I think we need to go to maybe back to a sort of strawberry colour. I'm just looking at the mix of colours here and what's going to work. And I think a strawberry-ish, but I'm not going to use the strawberry. I'm going to use the cardinal red. It's a very similar colour, but it's just nice to use a different colour. Maybe you might like to use the same colour, but I'm going to use this cardinal red and make it quite thick and intense here, like it's you know, a sauce. Try not to put it onto the cakey bit, but I've gone out of the lines. But you know me, I always do. Now for the bit above this bit here, we've got our little hundreds and thousands on there. They could be sugar strands, chocolate ones, and I think it'd be quite nice to make them different colours. So I want the colour of the cream, whatever it is, to be reasonably pale so that they all show up. It needs to match this red really. I think the blush pink actually would look quite nice. Remembering, of course, if it's buttercream, it can be any colour. You can use any colour or food dyes, but obviously I'm not pressing too hard. I don't want it really intense. I want it looking like we just put a little bit of food dye in there. You know, some, you know, if I did it blue, I think you'd be like, ugh. So, although there might be a mix of colours in your food dyes, you want to think about what is palatable. You know, we don't tend to do blue and green very much, but we would if we were doing a themed cake or pudding, you know, but I think sticking to reds and pinks is probably safe. Now this is quite difficult to get even because we're colouring around all these little bits. So I'm going to leave it, I'm going to do that layer, it's uneven, and then I'm going to do all my strands and then I'll come back and put another layer on and hopefully it will look a little bit better. So what colour for our strands? Well, let's start with a pompeian red. I'm going to do maybe 1 or 2 of each colour. There we go. I think we need a bright yellow. A sunflower. Is that the sunflower? Yeah, sunflower. Now here you can go green, red, purple, blue, whatever you want to really. I'm just looking at the different colours that I have got a choice of. I think orange? No. I'm trying to think what colours you get in these sorts of sets of things. You usually get some sort of purple. I'm going to go for the lilac. There it is. It's quite a dark purple, but I think that would be what we would get. Greens. Let me see. I think the jungle green is a good colour, but I don't know where it is. There it is. Useless. Jungle green. Now, what else might we get? Might get white, but we're not going to do that. I might get, no, silver, gold. No, I think I'm just going to do another one each of the colours. So I'm going to go back to my jungle green. I'm going to put another one there. And then back to my lilac. Put another one here. And then another sunflower. Here. And then another pompeian red. Here. Then we've got 4 left. Let's go for a lighter green perhaps, a spring bud. It's quite nice to put a bit of green in. I'm just thinking because we haven't got any other green in the picture because it's not something you would normally put on your cake, but we tend to have them in sprinkles. There we go. Okay, now we have these two. Oh no, sorry, we have to go back to our pink blush, don't we, and tidy up this background colour. Now what I'm going to do this time is go over the top of the sprinkles a little bit because I find that easier to make sure that I've covered them all over. And then we're going to do those shapes on the right hand side. Now I'm not sure if they are flumps, you know, marshmallow, or whether they are cream. We've got, this one has got a line running down it as if it's got some sauce in it. So let's have a little look. What should we do? I'm thinking, do we do purple sauce? I don't think so. Not particularly attractive idea to me. Let's do a pure red. Let's do a red sauce in there. I think red is okay as a sauce, pure red. And just down this line here. Like that. And then we need to do the sort of rest of it. I'm I'm thinking maybe a creamy colour. Let's use the soft yellow. We used the parmesan for our ice cream at the bottom. Let's make this slightly more yellowy, soft yellow. So just gently going to go over it to start with, over all of the areas, so that I can just see what it looks like. And I think what I want is I want it a little bit darker at the bottom. So I'm going to just put it darker down lower, and then a bit lighter towards the top. It's a tapping noise. Strange. Right, and now we have this one. Now I'm wondering, butterscotch, maybe melon, a sort of peach colour? Not really, I don't know. Maybe more of a pinky purple. Let's try the light heather. Let's just see if we can make it work. Where are you, light heather? There you are. So again, really light to start with, and then a bit darker at the bottom and fading up to the top. There we go. Okay, now my next part are going to be these. Now this one, I feel, looks like a matchmaker. I was talking about that yesterday. These two look more like biscuits, with the sort of chocolate flavouring in. They're sort of tubes. So we're going to colour this one first with a really dark, I think I might use the liquorice, really dark brown. But don't press too hard to start with. We're going to build some layers up. Need to be patient because we don't want it to go too dark, because we want to be able to show the shape of it, because it's not a flat thing, it is rounded. So on the edges, if we make these darker, then it will help to emphasize the rounded shape of the chocolate stick. Yum. I had some chocolate just now. It's supposed to be very healthy, but it depends which type you have. You see, I'm trying to leave a little bit of paler colour down the centre, so try and emphasise the rounded, that it's rounded. Okay, I'm going to leave that one there, and now we're going to do this centre one. I think I am going to use, I might use the nutshell first for one of our browns. We'll see if it works. Here it is, nutshell. In fact, I might use the nutshell for all of it and then add another colour on those stripes. That's what I'm going to do. It's a bit easier, more for easy. So, and it a bit dark on the edges again. But this is a cookie, biscuit, whatever you might call it. It's like a, I feel like it's a hollow tube. What do they call those? I don't know if they've got a name actually. Like a ginger snap. Filled with cream. Anyway, shush, stop it. So we've got that bit, and these I think are the sort of chocolate flavour, be a bit darker. So I'm going to grab my oak and just make those a little bit darker. Now you can see I've tried to make the edges darker than the centre, so I'm going to try and do the same thing with these. So put down a little bit more oak here and less towards the middle, but you want some on all of it so you can see it's a different colour. Okay, just put down a really light layer because you can build it up if it's not quite showing up, but it's difficult to erase it back. And putting down a gentle layer is quite tricky, but it's something you practice, I guess. I had to practice it a lot. So this one, although it's got this crisscross pattern on, I'm going to do it all one colour, I think. And I'm going to use the willow. It's a slightly redder brown colour. It's so blunt. I'm going to have to just put my paperweight on the corner. You know, my tablet. That's a paperweight, isn't it? Heavy enough, that's for sure. So I've sharpened this one. Willow. And I'm just going to again do a light layer just so I can see how it lies on the paper, really, because I don't want it really dark. It's a biscuit or cookie, it wouldn't be really dark, but a bit more on the edge. Just listening to my son chattering next door, we're laughing at something. I'm hoping it's from his textbook he's supposed to be reading, because I asked him to turn his video off so he could concentrate. We'll see. Right, so there is our bit there. Now we have a house. Now, how are we going to do this? I mean, we could do it. I'm very tempted to make it look like a gingerbread house because it's sitting on a pudding. So I think that might be a bit of fun. I'll just put my paperweight so I can sit in the corner. So we do a gingerbread coloured wall. What colour's gingerbread? I think I'm going to start with the brown sugar. I've used it already, haven't I? There it is. I'm going to start with this brown sugar colour. Now, I think, where did I use it? On this, maybe? No, down here. I don't know. No, there. Well, yeah, we're going to use it hard. Now, it's probably a little bit pale, so we can put something on top. But I really want to get some more intense colour on this, particularly to start with. Not sure about those windowsills. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it all. And here, this bit. I'm just trying to think about, you know, if it was made from gingerbread, which bits would be gingerbread. And I think everything but the windows and the roof, I would say. So that's what I'm going to do. And I think the door could be made of chocolate. But are the doors usually made of gingerbread as well? Not sure. Because I think it's an edible house. Why not? There we go, and then this bit. Now, I'm going to grab a darker colour. Just thinking what's going to work. Right, I'm going to go for a redwood. Now this is quite dark, so we're going to be very careful with it and just gently apply a layer over the top, quite lightly, just to slightly bake our gingerbread to a slightly darker colour without making it far too dark. You might think this is a little bit too red, maybe it is, but I'm not very familiar with, don't make gingerbread houses, I don't really know. I've just realised I probably should have done the chimneys. I'm going to do them in a minute. So there's that bit. Yeah, I'm just going to do the chimneys. Start again like before with our brown sugar. And we've got these two up here, and there's also one here, look. Goodness knows how you would make something that small out of gingerbread, but you know, we'll just pretend. There we go. Now, see this roof, it's a bit confusing because it's got a flat bit there and then it starts being curved. I'm thinking we could pretend it's made out of candies, sweets, and we could do some different colours, each tile in different colours sort of thing. So I think we might use these colours. So I'm going to start with the red that we used. Whoops, this is the pure red, remember? So I'm going to do this first one in pure red. It needs a good sharpen, to be honest. But there we go. I'm going to put that on the other side of me so I remember what I'm doing. Then a spring bud. I'm going to add a pink in because we didn't have a pink because we were putting them on a pink background. So I think I've got a pink out that I think is going to work. What's that Hollywood pink? Yeah, that would probably work. We'll use that. It'll stand out. It's very bright. Hollywood pink. And then I'm going to grab the yellow. I used the sunflower. There we go. Oops. Then I used a lilac, I think. And then there was the darker green, wasn't there? This jungle green, I think. I think I want a lighter, a pink that isn't a pinky purple, if I've got such a thing. Yeah, the hot pink, that will do nicely. It's a bit of a different shade. Where is it? There it is. Hot pink. Hot pink. And an orange. Flame. Then I'm going to leave it at that selection. We're going to keep going back through them. So what I've done is I've got them on my desk in colour order, and I'm going to grab from one end, so back to our red, and then put it at the other end so I know I've done it. So that's how I make sure that I'm doing them in the right order. But if you do mess up, well, if you do get confused, this is the Hollywood pink, and start doing them in the wrong order, I don't think it matters. Who's going to notice? Well, you might notice, but no one else is going to notice, and it will be fine. So just do it the best way that you can. And here's the lilac. And I'm just going to do it bit by bit. I'm having a hot flush. Well, I've been taking my HRT for 3 days and I've seen no difference whatsoever. But apparently it can take quite a long time to start working. So we'll see what happens. If it doesn't work after 3 months, I'm just going to give up. See here, you know, that would be next to the red and there's something there and something. I'm just not just going for it. So yeah, I'm going to try it and see, but there was apparently there's a TV show on Panorama, it's called, and they're investigating an private HRT clinic in the UK where they were giving too high a dose of the medication and potentially causing harm to the clients. But the person who's in charge of that clinic, I've seen her on a lot of podcasts and things, She's, you know, hailed to be a sort of pioneer in menopause treatment and things like that. And apparently, you know, they reckon she's been potentially doing harm. But I am quite okay with what I've got. I've got a very low dose, and I'm just going to monitor it myself a little bit, see how I feel, and that sort of thing. And let's see. It's very colourful, this roof. It's wonky. Sorry. Now the other roofs I'm not sure about because they haven't got the tile pattern on them, so I don't think I'm going to do them in the same way because I'm going to find it too hard. You could draw, if you can draw, you could draw the tile pattern on and do them in the same way, but I think I'm going to make them chocolate. Although we've got this turret, which if I do that chocolate and that, well, we can do some different shades, of course, of brown, but I think I might do that one in the gingerbread. Now this takes a really long time doing a roof like this, and because you keep swapping pencils all the time, it takes ages, but so I think it's worth it, and it's only a very small area. It's not like we're doing it for the whole page, so we'll see. But I did it in Johanna's Christmas. There's some gingerbread houses, and that's how I've done the roof. I'm using this one for this little tiny space in here. And then my last colour, which is the red, I'm going to use in that tiny space there. Now, yes, so I've made a decision. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a really dark brown for this piece, this turret, this piece, and this piece in the door. And then I'm going to use a slightly lighter brown for these two roofs. So they do look like chocolate, but they're different shades. So I'm going to use the really dark one that I used for this, which is the liquorice, for here. And here. And it will stand out quite a bit from the brightly coloured part. Oh, good. My son is chatting to my husband about his work. Well, it sounds like it anyway. Some computery talk. So I've changed my mind. I'm going to just do the door handles on this dark one and use the light one here. Yeah. So we need a lighter brown that isn't too close to our gingerbread colour. What have we got? I think we used the bourbon earlier and that was quite nice. Or the nutshell. The mocha is a bit too grey. I think I'm going to use that bourbon colour. Let's just find it. Yeah, this is my short one that was that kept breaking. Hopefully it'll be okay. I'm going to be gentle with it. Hopefully it'll look like chocolate. Imagine eating that solid chocolate roof. Now, like I did with these, I'm doing the windowsills the same colour. We will do a little bit with that in a bit. You'll see. Here's this bit. So I'm just getting distracted while I'm colouring this, thinking about Halloween colouring. It's coming up. I've got a few books next to me actually on my desk which I've picked out to do. I know I haven't really been in the mood for Halloween. It's a bit early anyway, but I'm not really in the mood for it. So what I'm going to do is do some things which are Halloweeny but aren't really Halloweeny. Makes a lot of sense to me. Now our windows I'm going to do in amber gold. It's a really pretty colour, if I can find it. It's a sort of orangey yellow, and I think it'll look like we've got our boiled sweets in our window. Oh, it's broken. So when you do make a gingerbread house, if you do windows, I've often seen people do a bit of a melted boiled sweet in the window. I'm just going to stop the video and sharpen this in my electric sharpener. Look at that. Nice. Right. Yes, so I've seen people melt boiled sweets into the window, so that's what I'm imagining we've done here. We've got a mixture of orange and yellow sweets that we've melted. Actually, you can't do that, can you? You place them near the window, and then when you bake the gingerbread, it sort of melts in or something. I don't know. It's quite a clever thing, I always think. Now I don't know how long the first video was, but as we're so close to finishing, we're going to finish this today. So we're just going to do a little bit of dark areas on the gingerbread house. So I'm going to grab my oak. I want to put a little bit of shadow in here and here and here, so that it looks a little bit, because this is overlapping, so I'm going to put a bit of shadow here and here, so it gives it a slightly more three-dimensional look, just and under the windowsills and things like that, just so that, because it's not going to be flat. It's a gingerbread house, but it's still three-dimensional. There we go. That's a bit better, like that. So there's our house. Oh, I need to put a bit under this windowsill, I think. I'm happy with the house now. So that is that. I'm just checking that I've finished all that, and I have. So we're going to come up and look at our glass. Whoops, hold on a minute. We'll need to come out a tad. Now, we can do our glass in just greys, or we can try and do it in a slightly coloured glass type way, which I think will be more difficult. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to use some greys. We have a few really pretty greys, and I thought maybe we could do some different stripes here in different colours. So I'm going to grab the Oxford grey. That's a really nice grey. And I'm going to use this for most of it. So here is our Oxford grey. And around the edge here, I'm going to start off a little darker here. Go a bit lighter there, darker here and lighter to here, because that bit to me looks like it's sticking out, so it might have a little bit, catch the light a bit. That's what I'm thinking here, like that. And then down here, I think this bit would be quite solid all the way along here. And then maybe a bit light up there. So a bit light here. Ooh. So dark in this bit, a bit light there, a bit of light there. Now this bit here, I think darker here, a bit lighter at the bottom. Might not work really, but I think it's okay. Now here, Johanna's drawn some lines, can you see? So I think she's indicating it's going to be dark on the edge and lighter towards the middle. That's going to give us a bit of shape into our stem. Going to do the same on here to make it lighter towards there. I think I'm going to do the same on this bit, so I'm going to ignore all the sections at the moment. Like that. Now, I'm going to grab my other colour here and fiddle around with this bottom bit before I go and do that stripy bit at the top, or else I might forget. So this is the Winter Lake. It is a darker grey, and we're going to do some shadowing in here. and under there I need to sharpen this. So under here, as if it's just standing up a little bit because of the pattern in the glass. There we go. And here we're going to put this darker colour in here. Again, I think I'll just fade towards the middle, a little bit like that. Put a bit of shadow there. There. I'm going to put a bit of shadow under here too. And just where those lines are drawn on. And that is it for that. Now this top bit, as I said, we're going to do it slightly stripy. So I'm going to do darker here and fade to the centre, and then dark at the bottom and fade to the centre. I'm going to do that all the way along every other one. And then I'm going to use the other grey to do the other stripe, the Oxford grey. Hopefully you can see they're different colours. I can't really see much difference, to be honest. And now I'm going to do some white pen work. So I'm going to use a Jelly Roll 8. I'm going to zoom right out so that because I'm going to work through the whole thing. I hope you're going to be able to see okay. Right. So just get that lid off. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is on my roof tiles. On the bottom of each tile, I'm going to put a little line. And just work through each one. Just putting a little bit on the bottom of each tile. I'm hoping this will just bring everything to life a little bit. Right, I'm going to put a little bit on here because this is chocolate. Just a few lines here and there like that. Now, each of our sprinkles, I'm going to just put a tad on the top, as I think they would be that sort of coated, sugar-coated, shiny, you know, sort of thing. Now, our blueberries, like that. And then these, so each of our little chocolate chips, I'm just going to put a little dash on, and then on the edges of our glaze, whatever it is, drizzle here. It's actually drawn on already in those places. Now this one's got lots of marks on, but I'm only going to do them on this dribbly bit here, and then put a bit here and here. I'm just going to scribble with my pen on my scrap paper just to get it showing up a bit better. I'm actually thinking I could do the bit on here as well. Sorry, I've just moved my book squiffy. Okay, now as we go down to our strawberry layer, I'm not sure it needs it. I'm going to put it on this chocolate sauce though, here. Like that. And a few bits here and there on this ripple. Just choose random areas. I don't think it really matters. Probably does, but you know. And then same here, just little bits here and there, just so it looks like it's glistening and delicious. And here on our strawberry layer too. We don't need to do anything below there, but now we want to make our glass look shiny. Now what I would normally do is do a big shiny, a big white area that looks like shine and follow the angle that the glass is drawn, but this has got these little bumps. It's quite difficult, so I think what I'm going to do is do an area here. I'm just going to draw it in with my white. Doesn't want to work. There we go. So a bit here and just like that and fill it in like that. Now it's not going to show up across most of this, so I'm a bit unsure. I'm just going to put a bit here and hope that it just shows up a little bit. Sort of fill it in like that. Probably leave it like that, to be honest. If your glass is, if you could use much darker colours, it would show up much better. Now I'm trying to go over the white and actually I've ended up taking some away. So I think we'd do quite a big shine on this side. Let's try that. Now often with a white, we're going to go over the bit of white we've done there, I find that it is good to go over it a few times, but you have to wait for it to dry. As I said, you erase what you've done if you go back over it. As you can see me demonstrating here, if I'm not very closely zoomed in. So I need to be patient and wait for that to dry before I try and then put another layer on top. I also sometimes find some pens seem to work better than others. Like this is my 8 jelly roll. Maybe it's running out or something. It doesn't seem to be working brilliantly. So I'm going to grab another pen from here. I've got a number 10, oops, which is a bit thicker, which might work better for these bigger areas. But also it could just be that my pen's running out. My husband ran out a white pen yesterday. He was most upset. He was like, but it's showing white on the barrel here. And I said, well, sometimes the paint just dries against the barrel and you can't always predict whether it's running out. And he was like, oh, I always thought that it would show me. I was like, no. See, this is a bit thicker. Whoa, get a thicker line. There we go. I'm tempted to put a little bit of shine on the roof there. There we go. I'm being fussy now. I think I am done. So there we are. I'm trying to hold it page open a bit for you so you can see it. So there it is. Now the only thing is now we haven't got a background. Now I think last time I did a bit of a fireworks type background with some metallic pens. I'm not sure that I want to do that this time. I'm quite liking it as it is. You could do and what I did, I'll just show you. I did like a cross and then lines out of it like that, sort of dotted lines coming out of it, or a star with dots round, that sort of thing. Nothing very difficult because I can't draw. So that is an idea. And you could use you could use metallics, you could use glitter. I think I use glitter gel pens, or you could use you could just use coloured gel pens, maybe the same colours as you use for some of these areas. That's another idea. So there are a few sort of different things that you could try, but I'm just going to leave it plain, I think, for now anyway. You could even stand it on a table, put a window behind it. It's in the window of a cafe. If you can draw, it'd be lovely, but I can't, so I'm not going to. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this series, and thank you very much to Linda who requested it, and I hope that she liked it, and the rest of you too. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a super day and happy colouring.